Hi everyone, am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Okay.
When we are going to log in now, it asking that every time enter the name, email ID from last 3 days.
Yes, yes. So basically this is the demo link, right? So that's why you are getting this. Once you get the permanent link, this will not ask you the use like email address and phone number because they will reach you right after the demo. So that's the reason maybe it is asking. But after 4 or 5 days, when you get the permanent link for the class, no need to enter your name and email and phone number.
One more request, madam. Please send the syllabus as soon as so whatever the basic things we can learn when you have free time.
Sure, sure. So I'm like super kind of occupied in the weekdays. I'm not at all getting. See, that's what I was doing. I was preparing the syllabus. I have half done. Maybe I'll complete tonight. So whatever I
Okay.
have prepared, let me take you through that. So the basic, if somebody wants to prepare, the core Python and advanced Python is the basic. So after Python, everything is going to change. As I said, it's a project-based learning. Having said that, don't think only the coding part I will cover. The mathematical or the theory part is included within the project. For example, we'll learn step by step. From the coding, we will go back to the theory. Like that, we will learn. And the core Python is mandatory. Everybody has to learn about the core Python first. And once the core Python and pandas and NumPy, everyone learn in the sense we will only see in the class. Maybe today we will just see the installation part, and Monday onwards we'll be starting the core Python, right? Today we will complete the basic parts, right? Monday onwards we'll start with core Python. In core Python, we are going to discuss about Anaconda, Jupyter Notebook, variable functions and everything. After that, we'll be going for advanced modules. In advanced modules, we'll be discussing about pandas and we are going to discuss about Plotly. Right. So Plotly and NumPy is also there. I think I have not included NumPy, is it? Yes. So NumPy is also there. NumPy, pandas and Plotly. So once we complete in Plotly, we are going to discuss multiple graphs. So once this is completed, we are going to learn statistics and machine learning in project way. For example, the first project is sales forecasting project. So in this project, the domain is retail. Mostly for retail or e-commerce kind of domain, you can write this project in your CV. I'll explain in the last class. I'll explain how each of this project, 7 projects we will do, 7 projects you will write in your CV. I'll tell you the way how you can convert these projects that we have practiced into real-time projects and write it. So I'll give you complete guideline in the sense what is the objective of the project, and then what all are the tools and techniques you are using, and then what is your roles and responsibility, like how a real CV will look, right? That I will help you. So first algorithm is self-forecasting. What you will learn here is basically linear regression and optimization technique. These are the algorithms. And techniques in the sense, what all are the real-time challenges you will be learning. So real-time challenges will be learning multicollinearity and validation techniques. And in detail, I have also mentioned the syllabus is very transparent. So you can compare line by line, whatever is written will be delivered. Actually, more than whatever is written will be delivered. So you'll understand in the first project how to treat missing values, what is correlation, what is variance and standard deviation, what is G-score. I will tell you what is normal distribution. The theory we will discuss immediately will come to the data and check whether our data, that the project data, is normally distributed or not, right? And if it is not normally distributed, how to make it normally distributed. Those techniques we will learn. Then we will kind of convert our categorical to numerical, that we will understand. How to scale your data, normalize or standardize. These all are pre-processing technique. After that, we will understand what is linear regression, what is loss and cost function, what is your least square method, complete mathematical derivation of linear regression. And then we will discuss what is the assumption of linear regression. All the bold letters are theory part. Once we complete this theory part, again we will go back. Assumption, whatever we discuss, line by line we will implement in the coding part. So first, please mute yourself. I'll give you chance, everybody. So then we will understand how to kind of build our first linear regression model using sklearn. And also we will discuss about multicollinearity, which is a very great problem in regression. This is called problem. So this is something which there are high chance that this kind of questions you will be asked. What is linear regression? We understood, but when we do modeling in the real time data, there are some challenges. One of the challenges, if the model is not working, why it is not working, that we will analyze. One of the causes multicollinearity. If multicollinearity present, model may not work. So we will identify and remove multicollinearity. Different methods we will discuss, right? After that, what we will understand is we will understand the validation technique like MSc, RMSc, MA, standard error. All of these things we will learn in the first project, that is called sales forecasting. In the second project, that is we are going to learn is about fraud detection. This is another project. So basically this is a banking domain, right? First project is retail. I'll give you 7 projects from 7 domain. Second project is from banking domain, fraud detection. In the CV preparation, I will tell you, though it is a banking project, fraud detection, all the algorithms, how you can write in other domain. Let's say you're working in manufacturing or you're working in some other domain, how to twist this project into your CV. That I will help you. So in this fraud detection, this is a classification project. So you will understand about machine learning classification algorithm, like what is bagging, what is boosting, what is tree algorithm, what is decision tree, what is random forest, what is XGBoost technique, right? And these are the algorithms that you will learn, complete theory, and we will implement all of this algorithm in this project data set. There is a challenge in classification. Mostly the challenge is called class imbalance. So once you enroll for this course, you will understand normal algorithm. Basically, the challenges means when your algorithm will not work, then next what things you need to do that nobody actually cover in the course. When you see the machine learning course by other instructors, they just cover the traditional way of training. Let's say decision tree, random forest, XGBoost, linear regression, everything you have applied, your model is not working, right? Then what next step? Why it is not working? Those things we are analyzing. So that is called techniques. Your model, if it is classification, may not work if it is suffering from class imbalance problem. So in class imbalance, we have different techniques called sampling methods, SMOT methods. We have random undersampling. We have uh, downsampling, and we have different methods, right? We will be discussing. So major goal of this project, every project you will learn something, right? In the second project, we are going to learn about class imbalance. So we will discuss about decision tree, we'll discuss about random forest, XGBoost, complete theory, line by line explanation. We'll implement all of these things in the project. We will find that the model is not good, and then we find out why the model is not good and how I can change something, how I can do, what is the solution if the model is not working after applying this algorithm. Maybe it is suffering from class imbalance, and then what is the solution? Again, we will do some changes and go back. In real time, in data science, we have 5 steps like model collection, data pre-processing, model building, validation. So in the validation, we found model is not working. Go back and then twist something, and maybe class imbalance algorithm you implement. Come and again model. So you will find like it's a real-time project. How we are doing in industry, like that we will be doing here. There are so many things I'm not able to write. In class imbalance also, we have so many algorithms that we will see. So the detail, this is highlights, but in detail, I'm writing what you will learn, but I'm not getting time to prepare. So I have just completed one, but give me today's time. It is taking time because it's not like randomly copy pasting somewhere. I am preparing the content very, very carefully, looking into what real time challenges I am suffering as a data scientist, and what you are going to, let's say, when you go and describe projects, nowadays the interviews are based on your projects, right? Real time experience. So let's say you told I have done a random forest decision tree model using fraud detection project. Next immediate question they will ask you is how much is the accuracy? And fraud detection means as a real time data scientist, I will be able to know data is suffering from class imbalance. Next question I will ask you is, do you have any class imbalance? How you have solved it? So this kind of real time questions you may get, right? So I am preparing you for, mostly this course is dedicated for interview preparation, you can say. Theory, obviously we have very, very important the theory we will give. Complete theory we will understand. Having said that, project and real time experience kind of projects are very important. Like that, we have third project. Now you got the pattern, right? How the course is going to be designed. And from your batch, it is completely changed. So third project, I will teach you feature selection. Very, very important technique. Definitely one question you will get. Feature selection, we have tree algorithm, we have PCA, principal component analysis. In feature selection, again, the domain may be anything. Algorithm that you will learn is PCA, principal component analysis. You will understand about other forward selection, backward selection methods. Almost 10 to 15 feature selection algorithm I will teach you. So I can guarantee, if you want my writings, I can guarantee I'll give you in writings. If you complete this course, you are ready for interview. If you're not preparing, that is your mistake, but whatever questions you're getting in the interview, 100% the words will not surprise you. Definitely you have an answer. Maybe if you have not practiced, maybe you think like I have listened somewhere, but maybe you cannot answer. But if you have practiced, if you have done all of the 7 projects, and if you have kind of completed all the coding test and assignments that I'm giving, be confident in the interview that you will crack it. If your responsibility is just to shortlist your CV, after that this course will prepare you enough to kind of clarify all the clear all the interviews. You can remember me when you go to interviews, right? Like that I'm preparing. I think you got the flow how the kind of course is going to be. Is it clear? Like, I'm sorry, I today also I could not complete it, but you can understand why it is taking so much time. Other project 4 is outlet detection. Very, very important. Like people are asking questions from outlet detection. So I will give you one more project. Maybe in that project, there will be full of outliers, and we will discuss different packages and different modules based on my 9-year experience, whatever I have learned. Um, Everything I'm going to combine together and give it to you. Machine learning means it is done for you. You can give a tick mark. We are going very in depth. Whatever you are covering, whatever you are not covering, not touching, right? So more than knowing the very so many things, it is very better to learn in a real time experience way, and this is lacking nowadays. Traditional training is okay, but real time project based training is lacking. So that's why 7 projects, and every project will teach you something. And the last project is major project, where we will connect all the 6 project, whatever we have learned in the major project. This is a coding test I will give you. The 3 hours you will connect. In 3 hours, whatever you have learned in all of these 6 projects, you will implement, from getting a data set to building models like missing value treatment, outlet detection and removal, right? And then you will be doing other stuffs like feature selection you will do, and then you will be doing class imbalance. So last project is messy project. Every technique, 6 project, everything you will kind of implement. Model pipeline, machine learning pipeline creation, right? A hyper parameter tuning, right? Many things, everything combined together, and then you will submit your solution, and then we will discuss the solution of the major project. That is how we are going to conclude, right? So the duration will be 1.5 months, as I said, but like you got the flow. I'm sorry I could not share, but I think by end of tomorrow you will be kind of getting the syllabus. And this is unique, very unique syllabus. My previous syllabus also was very unique, but it was 2 years old. My screen is not visible. Others, can you confirm? Can you see my screen?
Yes, madam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, I think so.
I see your screen, but this is not movable.
Yeah, it's in fourth, still in fourth. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I have not prepared, so that's why I'm just moving. I'm just in project 2. I have to write. So see why it is taking time. I'm kind of going different websites, checking which all projects are related to what kind of challenge, and then I'm selecting the project, and then I'm creating the syllabus. So it's very with very proper care I'm selecting. It's not like randomly copy pasting. Very proper care, so that it will help you in clearing interviews, right? This course is different than what it was before. From your batch onwards, it's going to be different. The advance, it is going to be same, because in advance everything is kind of coding and theory combined. Anyway, we have project for everything, and there are not much challenges. Machine learning has so many challenges, right? Outliers are there, so many challenges. Advance is different. We have different kind of challenges, image processing related challenges, we have text mining related challenges. So those all things we will complete there. But here we have machine learning related challenges, which we will complete here. Also, I am going to add in the major project AutoML, so which is kind of trending. So it's a real-time based, whatever I have learned, I'm combining together. So all of this thing, traditional way of coding, and also I'll tell you some magic AutoML packages, which will make your life easy. And also some magic packages, very unique package. You will remember me later. You will find kind of secret or kind of very impressive packages of pandas and other kind of libraries which will help you. Python, very important libraries. So yeah, so this is what it is. Give me some time, maybe end of tomorrow you'll get a nice syllabus, right? And this is not only this. In the main project, when you in the last class CV, one by one project, I will give you writings. Take that writings, do not copy paste, because it is generalized. You can modify according to your domain. I will give you writings, or maybe I will describe, right? You can note down while I am describing each project. I'll tell you what is the objective and what you are going to learn, what are algorithms, techniques and tools, and then what is the roles and responsibility, and if what kind of interview question you can expect each project wise. So that will definitely help you cracking interviews. Okay. So is it clear? Any doubt so far? Give me 1 minute. Let me plug in the charger. So in summarized way, so many content we are learning. We are learning a linear regression, random forest, decision tree. We are learning multicollinearity. We're learning class imbalance. We are learning outlet detection algorithms. We are learning feature selection algorithms, right? We are learning validation techniques, recall precision, classification report, confusion metrics. We are learning model building techniques, pipeline, how to create. So many things we're learning together. My main focus is machine learning and statistics. Pandas Plotly is also important, so that we need to complete first. Then only we can go for project. So you can ask me very statistics. So statistics is built in each project. You can see statistics is here. Statistical topic, only theory will not make any sense. So we will understand the statistics through a project. So G-score, variance, standard deviation, correlation, normal distribution, many topics I have embedded. It is embedded within this project, right? You can see. You can write 2 years of experience after this course. You can actually write 3, 4 plus if you have taken 3 months. But to be in the safer side, I'm saying 2 plus, right? If you can learn a little bit from your side, you can also show 3 plus or 4 plus years of experience after taking at advanced and intermediate. Having said that, I am restricting myself to 2 years, at least 2 plus. For sure, you can write. Data scientist positions you can apply for. You're eligible to apply for senior data scientist if you have done all of these projects. Year 7 projects, in the advance you're getting 6 projects, total 13 to 14 projects you are doing. So you are very good position to write 3+ years of experience in data science. So people are asking how I can match that gap, how I can write. Now you can understand why you can write, because these projects will help you writing your CV, right? 10 to 12 projects. Is it clear for everyone? Any doubt? So what is the goal in today's class? I'll make sure all the system installation is completed. We'll install all the softwares in your system, and tomorrow we will just start with core Python. Monday onwards, it's a full-fledged batch, 1 hour, and you will get the content by tomorrow. Okay.
And these 3, 4
Any
demo
doubts so
classes will
far?
also be count, huh?
No.
In the
Demo
40.
classes are demo classes. No.
Okay.
So
Okay.
content will start from one day. Demo classes are demo classes, right? It's a different. So content will start from tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, in the sense when we start our core Python. From that, the content will start. Right? Okay. So we are all good, right? Any queries before we start with installation? We are all good?
Ma'am, I have one query actually. Actually, I was not present yesterday.
Yes.
Thing is, I'm working in for SAP. So I is like my
Yes.
designation is like SAP consultant. Can I keep? How can I manage for the designation? uh, that kind of thing. Because last day from 1 year it is like SAP consultant. Before it is like a generic designation. So can I
See,
manage
I'll
this?
tell you. Yeah,
Yeah, tell me.
so let me tell you, I think I already answered this question. So for everyone who want to ask me this kind of questions, will I able to try do the transition? So you ask yourself two things. Are you from a completely non-technical background? You have not touched coding ever, or you're not from a coding background also. Like your BTech is also like mechanical or some other branch where you have not done coding in your entire life. In that case, little difficulty you may face because this course is full of coding actually. People think data science is not coding. No, nothing, no software course cannot be complete without coding. So you need to do extra effort to match that gap. Mainly Python you need to learn extra. But if you are from a background, at least from a computer science or IT background, or at least 1 year, 2 year, some programming you have done in your kind of entire career. Please mute yourself, everyone. Please mute yourself. So then you can try for data analyst and data science both. Whatever you are getting, you should take it. You should try for, after taking this course, you should try for both data analyst and data science. Data analyst, you are a very good data analyst, right? So you can showcase senior experience like 3-4 years experience in data analyst. Only thing you need to learn along with part one is Excel and SQL. I hope you have hundreds of videos available in internet to learn Excel and SQL. If you learn Excel and SQL with part one, you are a advanced data analyst, right? Not only beginner, you can try for advanced data analyst. So everyone, I'm suggesting to try both for data analyst and data scientist positions, and you get whatever you're getting, you go for it, right? um Dhananjay, you're asking whether Power BI is also there. Like Python recordings, you are going to get Tableau recordings. And what all you are going to get in Tableau? So all of this concept that I have written, how to get started with Tableau, connecting your data with Tableau, creating line bar, areas, scatter chart, etc. using Tableau. Tableau calculation, sum average aggregate, applying new data calculation to your visualization, sorting, filtering, tabular data. So all of this concept of Tableau, you're going to get the recording, not live class. From my previous data analyst batch, I'm going to share the Tableau recordings with everyone. So you're going to get everything that is required. Only thing is, give yourself that time to practice every day 1 and 2 hours. And the path that I'm showing, just follow me, whatever I'm saying, do it. And after 1.5 months, once you complete both the course, you will be, and take 15 days to prepare your CV and start looking for job. Within 2-3 months, definitely will crack if your CV is shortlisted, right? So Dhananjay, not Power BI, but Tableau recording I will share. Okay. So
Ma'am,
it's a vast thing. You're getting Python recording from Gus, getting Tableau recording, getting machine learning, complete machine learning and statistics. You're getting Plotly and Pandas NumPy modules, right? Advanced Python. You're getting deep learning, cloud. You're getting big data, NLP, everything complete, full stack data scientist. The same course, if you go, it's in lakhs. You go and check. I'm not saying you go and check because of the brand name, right? Because of the brand name and the professors who are the professors. You should check. They're from IITs, MIT, Stanford, and how much they will be charging per hour, right? You can imagine. So who is going to pay their fee? You are going to pay. And even though they're teaching in IITs, do you think they will teach you? Because you are not IIT, right? You are not from IIT. You are not IIT students. They may teach very high level concepts in their colleges. When it comes to a normal program, they have to come down to your level. They cannot go that level, right? How the IIT in their teaching. Otherwise, every people will start complaining, not understanding anything. So they will also provide you exactly same thing or even less than this, and they may go very faster kind of. Now you can ask me why the duration is 1 year, because 2 months they will teach you SQL, 2 months they will teach you R, right? 2 months or 1 month they will teach you many other things, right? So I'm not saying the teaching is bad. The teaching is super good because the quality of the instructor is very good. Having said that, the content is same. Everybody will teach you this much only and this much depth. We are actually going very in depth, project based, and kind of you can ask me any silly questions. There is a batch of 75-80 members, right? I don't know how much the professor will answer. Maybe their assistant, they have assistants, right? The professor, do you think IIT MIT Stanford professor will answer you silly questions. Maybe other kind of instructor will help you. So that is the thing. What I'm saying is my goal is my students should crack interviews and remember me later, right? It's not kind of just a course. It's basically for a good goal, right? You should change your career. That is our goal. Anyway,
Ma'am,
so this is something. Yeah.
one more last thing. It is okay from the subject point of view. I have confidence in your teaching because I'm listening to your demo class. But like switching career, the interviewers will ask, right? Why are you switching the career? Or without experience, they would not allow us, right? We are freshers in their eye, in their point of view, right?
Yes, let me tell you. So that's very, very common. It's a very good question. So, okay, I know the concept. What I will do if nobody is selecting me? So you need to be smart enough. Don't try to be honest. I think I should not tell this, but this is how the world is. So you have to write in your CV that you're not a fresher. Tell them you have already worked in data science at least for last 1 year or 2 years. That's what I'm saying to write. Long time, I'm repeating one thing. I will help you to prepare your CV in such a manner you can write 1 year or 2 year experience in your CV if you are senior. Then only your CV will be shortlisted. First, let your CV be shortlisted, isn't it? Then only you can prove yourself. So to your CV to be shortlisted, you have to write at least 1 or 2 year experience either in data analyst or data science. Being a fresher, nobody will accept you if you don't have a master's degree. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Being a fresher, if you're not from
But I'm an experienced candidate, but my designation will be a problem, right? It will, it is like my designation is different, so I cannot keep 1 or 2 years. I mean, they would
so there
give designation.
got it. So you're from SAP. So there are so many things you can write. Many SAP things are automating using Python. Don't think data science is a designation. 80% of the company, let me tell you this fact, 80% of the company, they don't have a designation called data science. They will give you decision scientist or they will give you data analyst, associate. If you go to banking, there is nothing called any designation. Analyst, associate, VP. Analyst, associate, VP, like that. If you go to completely purely kind of data analytics firm, right, startup or a company which has a data analytics, they are doing dedicated data analytics, then they have this designation. Like in my company, we have a very specific path: data scientist, senior data scientist, staff data scientist, chief data scientist. But when I was getting an offer from Accenture or something, I guess it was software engineer, senior software engineer, and my role was that. So I surprised, like, why you are giving me this designation? They told me this is what we have. So we don't have data science, right? So you can justify, there are different ways. But having said that, every role cannot also be justified. So I don't know your background, if you are from sales kind of thing, and I don't know how you will write that, but at least if you are from software background, so there's different ways you can write. Even though you're working as a DevOps engineer, you can tell some of the things we have automated. We had started a new artificial intelligence team in our kind of organization, and I have done all of these POCs. Many things you can write in your CV. Only thing is, even though somebody is knowing you are faking or telling wrong, can he reject you if you answer everything perfectly like a true data scientist? He will think twice, right? Even though you're saying, let's say, fake things, but if you can able to justify or match with a real-time data scientist, very difficult for the interviewer to reject you. On basis of what he will reject? Not even a single question you have said wrongly, right? Or maybe you can try for small companies in the initial stage instead of trying for big names, right? Maybe startups who can hire you based on your caliberity, not based on your degrees and other things, right? So there are different ways. There is no harm in trying. If you really want to come to AI, the journey will be difficult. But if you are, I mean, you can simply try. It's not for AI. Any domain you go, that's the same problem, right? You go to IoT, you are new. You go to cloud computing, you are new. So you have to match that gap by somehow if you want to do a career transition, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I
Got
think so
it.
much of yeah. Okay, so Avinash, do we have R also? No, R we are not covering, and we should not cover also. Why? Because R is outdated. It is already replaced by Python, and the next generation also not R. Next generation, different other languages like Julia, Scala, different languages are coming, maybe which can replace Python. R is far away, right? It was there, it was trending, but now R is not trending. Python is kind of the winner, and you can check in Google and see the trend chart for R and Python. In 2015 to 2020, R came from top language to least kind of, it is every year it is going negative, right? -5, -10% is low. Why? Because there's so R is a statistical language. It's not a object oriented language like Python. Python is more powerful than R. People who are working as Python developer, they can understand what I'm saying. We have frameworks called Django Flask, which supports complete web framework. See, ultimately, when you're a data scientist, whatever you are doing, what is the ultimate goal? Avinash, tell me. What is your ultimate goal? To industrialize, to productionalize it, correct? Or to make a product out of it, isn't it? So whatever algorithm you are making, so when you are thinking about that, R is not supporting web framework. Now all the developers in your team will be from Scala, Java and Python background. It's very difficult for them to convert your R code into there. It's a headache, right? It's a double work. Your code needs to be converted, then only it will be integrated, right? How to create web framework, it is not supported. Coming to big data, coming to PySpark and R, it is R is supported by Spark, but it is not mature like PySpark, right? Many things are not there. Coming to other things like your integration, Python integration is smooth with respect to cloud. So there are so many advantage. Main advantage is the wave framework, right? The GUI. Ultimately, you are going to create a framework where the user can use it, right? That is not supported by R. Hence, R is not popular. Okay. So hence we are not covering or wasting time. Instead of R, I will suggest you to learn Scala or Julia, some advanced next generation languages. That will help you. That will boost you in your CV. Okay. Okay. So let me go to the, I think this is all clear. We'll do one thing. So how many of you already know about Jupyter Notebook, have used Jupyter Notebook before? How many of you already used Jupyter Notebook before?
Myself.
Yeah, some
So
I am also.
others, you have, yes. So you also, right? Okay. So I'm not going to waste so much time. I will give you YouTube link of my previous batch and today's assignment, right? Today onwards, we're going to start the content. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Please mute yourself, everyone. Everyone, please mute yourself. Okay. So what is your today's assignment, right? Your today's assignment is I will send you 2 YouTube link, right, of my previous batch. I'll give you a brief, but the detailed description you will find from YouTube, right? Go to YouTube and try to do these 2 things. First is you have to install Python using Anaconda. I'll tell you what is Anaconda, which will take very less time, right? Maybe 2 minutes. Python installation you need to do. Looking at the video, Python installation you need to do. And after Python installation, what we're going to discuss is something called Jupyter Notebook tutorial. So this is for like people who are new. So what is Jupyter Notebook? This is a IDE, uh, right? You know IDE, right? Eclipse, IntelliJ, many IDE you have used, Atom, VS Code. So Jupyter Notebook is the IDE that we are going to use in this course, right? Mostly it is very good for data science projects. So your assignment is take the link for this and do it, complete it by today, right? Maybe when we connect tomorrow, I will ask you if you have any queries related to installation and then we can discuss. I'll give you a brief, right? Not wasting much time. I'll give you maybe 5 minutes quickly. I'll tell you. So what I'm suggesting is install Anaconda Python. Many of you have installed different versions of Python. My suggestion is uninstall every Python if you have and install Anaconda version of Python. Why? Anaconda version of Python is very kind of, it is completely free, it is open sourced, and it is accepted by industry, right? So you just type Anaconda Python download. In Google, you type Anaconda Python download, and then you click on this link, the first link, individual edition Anaconda, you click on this. So if you go to Anaconda Python download, go down, come below, right? So what is your, it is nothing but your data science toolkit with over 20 million users worldwide. The open source individual edition or distribution is easiest way to perform Python R data science and machine learning on single machine. Basically, what is this Anaconda Python? This is all in one. So you will not only get Python, you will get IDE along with Python, IDE like Spider and Jupyter along with Python, plus important libraries of Python. What is a library? Python is very famous because for each task you have a library. For example, you want to do some plots, like in Excel you have charts, bar chart, click means bar chart. Similarly, we have libraries. You call functions, immediately you'll see nice graphs, right? So for every task we have library, and most of the libraries which are used in data science, right, you will find already downloaded for you by Anaconda. So it will kind of take care of many things. It is all in one. So my suggestion is simply go down, and if you come here, just simply go down. Here you can find Anaconda installers. You have your operating system. Select your operating system, whether it is Windows, Mac, or Linux, and then based on that, select the first one. Check what is your system configuration. For most of you, it is 64-bit, right? So you should select the first one, 64-bit, and then click on this. It is a exe file. What is this? This is a exe file. It will take 2-3 minutes based on your internet speed. After that, click next, 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 and done. If you're a Mac user, simply download this. After that, double click, auto install, next, 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 and done. It will go to your home folder and C drive in Windows. Let me repeat what I'm saying. I'm saying you how to install Python. I'm suggesting you to install Anaconda version of Python. What is Anaconda? Anaconda is an open source distribution for Python. Not only Python, it will help you to install 2 IDE called Jupyter Notebook and Spider, plus all the important libraries like Pandas, NumPy. Okay. Okay, so sorry for this. Yeah, so you will understand about so you'll understand about you'll understand about this Anaconda Python, and then you will also get important packages like NumPy, Pandas, and you will get visualization packages built in. I think visualization will not get, but many other important libraries also will be installed along with this. And why I'm saying later on, when you go to advanced module, right, part 2 course, when you install PyTorch, when you install Keras, when you install OpenCV, very complicated kind of libraries which has so many dependencies, Anaconda way of installation is super easy instead of writing pip install, right? So my suggestion is go to this website, in the Google type Anaconda Python download, and then once you get this website, go down and select your operating system and select 64-bit installer. Is it clear so far? I will stop here. Once you have done this, click next, 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 and done. Is it clear how to install? Please say yes, yes, if you are clear. Ask me if you
Yeah.
have any doubt.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Please
Can you
go
do
for
this?
it.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how to confirm your installation is done? Confirm. How to confirm your installation is done or not? In Windows, you come to your Windows, right? In Start menu, can you see my screen? There is a folder called Anaconda 364-bit. Can you see this?
Yeah. Yes, madam.
Right. So you will get this folder after your installation. Before your installation, this folder will not be there. After your installation is successful, you will find this folder. Click on this folder. Can you see so many things are there? Anaconda Navigator, Anaconda PowerShell, we have Jupyter Notebook, Spider, right? Isn't it? So all of this, if you can able to see, your installation is successful. You click on anything, let's say Jupyter Notebook. You click on this, something will be opened in your web browser. Just to confirm installation is done or not. So far, all clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now let me do one thing. Whatever I have said, there is a YouTube link. I'm going to share that link with you so that you can go to that link and complete this installation. 1 second. Yes, sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the YouTube link where you can see the installation video. This is the first thing that you need to do today. This is your assignment. I know for most of you it is very common, but for the people who are very new, they can do this. After that, this is called Jupyter Notebook. Um, the quick tutorial about Jupyter Notebook, about 1 hour. This is very good for Python data science related project. I'll tell you why this is unique. Anyone wants to tell about Jupyter who have used it? Why Jupyter is unique as compared to other IDE? What extra things you can do? Any user who has used Jupyter?
Yeah, I can say it's so handy that we can just upload relevant IPA files, which is common for Google Colab and even for the other things like which we can upload the data sets and use it commonly, which is from Kaggle and other things.
Okay, so let me show you some of the examples, right? For example, let's say something, let's say this project, right? This is one of the project. So see how nicely I can create documents about the project. I can import the packages, isn't it? I can import the packages, and after this I can write all of these headings. You can see pre-processing functions. I have written the headings. After headings, I have written all my codes. I have given headings, and then I can see the results visualization. You can see the graphs. These are the outputs of the code, and then I can see the graphs below, right? The diagrams. Let me show you that. This is just right. Okay, so after all of this, I can, this is one project, maybe some other nice visualization project I can show you so that you can understand. So this kind of things is not possible in the other IDE because this is supported by Markdown. So Markdown only, this will support Markdown. So other things are not supported by Markdown. For example, let's take this, right? So you can see in this particular note, I am writing so many things. First, I am writing the theory part. Let's say before I tell you, let's say I will tell you how to install this particular software. What is the command? Some of the instruction I am writing, note I am writing, right? What you need to do. It's like a document. It's like a kind of note that I am sharing. Not only the coding, but along with coding, I can write text. I can give headings. I can write YouTube links. I can add images. I can add hyperlinks. If you click, it will go to that page. I can give headings, subheadings. I can write Python code. I can see the results. If it is a visualization, you can see the graphs just below. See how nicely I have done this graph, and I can see this graph, the results, right? Not only that, I can download it in multiple formats. I can download it in PDF format, download it in HTML format. One thing I really like is HTML. Obviously, I can download in Python and Notebook, other formats, but HTML is very unique, right? Why this is very important? Let's say you're sharing your code with your manager. Now, only for you, he has to install all of these packages to run your code, correct? You have used so many libraries, so many functions. To run your code, he has to install all of that, which is a tedious task. So instead of that, if you share this HTML without doing anything, quickly he can go through your code and he can see the entire results, like entire visualization, all the graphs. All of these graphs we're going to do in the class anyway, right? So they can see entire result, entire graph, entire documentation, everything. Instead of creating PPTs, we data scientists, mostly we don't create PPTs. We write everything in Jupyter and send it. It's a kind of documentation, very good for your team members. So this is something which we are going to use. So what I'm going to tell you is go to the YouTube link and see or spend some time understanding Jupyter Notebook. That is your assignment for today, right? You go to the YouTube link and see two things. First thing is Anaconda installation. Second thing is Jupyter Notebook tutorial from very beginning, how to open Jupyter Notebook till a point where you can create a document. Complete 1 hour tutorial is available. Can you do these two things today? Let us connect tomorrow and I will ask you if you have any doubt, and also I will give you a brief or summary kind of summarization I will do for Jupyter. In the meantime, while I am showing you the YouTube link, so not only this, if you have any further queries, you can also see the demo recordings, but I think most of the questions I have answered, so no need to see this. So if you see this, if you see DurgaSoft data science, you can find many of my videos, right? So you can type here DurgaSoft data science and session 1 you type. So session one is for installation, right? This is for installation. So this link, right? See, I'm showing you how to install Anaconda in this particular video. So let me copy this and then let me paste it. So I'm pasting it in the window, chart window. Everyone, please copy and paste. I have sorry, this is some other video. And then if you type here session 2, you will find that this is the video for session 2 where I have explaining Jupyter Notebook. This is again 1 hour video. So you can see this is entire thing is about Jupyter Notebook. So let me copy this and paste here. Let me repeat. The first link will tell you how to install Anaconda in your system. The second video will help you to understand about Jupyter Notebook, especially all the non-technical people or people who are completely new to this field. They must not have used Jupyter Notebook. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable from day one when I start Jupyter Notebook. So for that, I'm making sure your basics are clear. So you go to this install Python and go to this Jupyter Notebook tutorial and complete the 1 hour video. How to complete? You install Anaconda. Whatever I am doing here, you do parallelly in your system. Open a Jupyter, close a Jupyter, create a new Python script, upload a new Python script, create a document, give headings, add hyperlinks, right? Add bullet points, write some text. By doing whatever I'm doing in the video, you also do in your system and make yourself comfortable. Let us connect tomorrow. I'll give you a quick, maybe 5 minutes revision on this Jupyter Notebook, and then we will start with core Python. Is it clear so far, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear so far?
Yeah.
Ma'am, one more question. Do
Yes.
we discuss about AI in this course? Will we have AI sessions?
No. AI is nothing but what we are covering is AI. I think in the day one we discussed. Don't confuse yourself with AI and data science. Artificial intelligence is kind of, I told you one example in very first class. So let's say standard one. Your kid is studying in standard one. So what are the subjects he is studying? Hindi, EVS, maths, then your computers, English. So all of the subjects combined together, one single term is class one or standard one. Now, data science, machine learning, computer vision, information retrieval, NLP, soft computing, image processing, all of this combined together, it is called artificial intelligence. There is nothing called artificial intelligence course. Artificial intelligence course means everything. Can you take all of this course? Answer is no. A data scientist is he will be knowing many things but be master in something. So this course will teach you some of the parts of artificial intelligence. So any of these tools and techniques you are using to build any application, in general, you are saying this is AI application. For example, let's say you got 80 marks in English, right? So you will say my kid got 80 marks in English. Instead of saying that, you're saying this is class 1 mark. English also class 1 mark, math is also class 1 mark, right? Everything is class 1 mark, but individually using that how much mark you got based on the subject, right? So subjects are nothing but machine learning is one subject which is coming under AI. Information retrieval is one subject which is coming under AI. NLP is one subject which is coming under AI. Every subject combined together, the superset is called AI. Is it clear? Now, what we are learning here is not everything. Some of the topics, like we are learning machine learning, we are learning deep learning, right? So machine learning and deep learning and a bit of image processing combined together, we are learning in this particular course. And also NLP. Is it clear for you? What is AI and what is data science?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So recommendation engine you may build using deep learning and ML. Is that AI? Answer is yes. Now, search engine you have built using text mining. Is that AI? Answer is yes, right? You have built, let's say, a face detection app, right? In your mobile, face detection. That is an image processing plus deep learning. Is that AI? Answer is yes. All of these things, any of the technique, one or more than one technique combined together, whatever you are building, we call it AI application. Self-driving car, it is IoT plus machine learning, deep learning. That is also AI. So you are hearing all of these AI terms so many times, but the techniques and tools may be one or more than one. Let's say your Siri, speech recognition, sound plus text mining, right? Sound waves plus text mining, audio plus text mining combined together, your Siri app. That is also AI. So everything is AI. Having said that, there is nothing called AI course. AI course in the sense everything if you learn, which is not possible, next to impossible, right? You can learn one or two or three things. Maybe you can expert in machine learning, deep learning, image processing, or you can learn about NLP, deep learning. You can learn about IoT plus AI. Are you getting so many things combined together? One single term is AI. As a data scientist, you know 2-3 things from AI, which you are expert in. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now, you may be a data scientist who is expert in NLP and machine learning. Your friend may be a data scientist who is expert in computer vision. He knows image processing plus deep learning. Right? Somebody else may be expert in search engine optimization or search engine building, basically information retrieval. Somebody else can be an AI engineer who is very expert in IoT plus basically the self-driving car, right? Speech recognition kind of applications. So anybody can be an AI engineer based on what they know. Is it clear? AI and data science, clear? Very common confusion. Is it clear for everyone what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So yes. So what we are going to do is let us connect tomorrow. Any doubt in today's class? Is it clear? Not clear? Tell me. If it is clear, yes, yes. If it is not clear, ask me doubt. We are
Yes,
all
madam.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your assignment? Anybody? Can you repeat?
Installation of the Anaconda
Any
Python.
one of you. Can you repeat? What is your assignment for today's class?
Installation of Anaconda Python.
Yeah, Praveen. You can repeat.
Installation of Anaconda Python IDE and knowing about
Yes.
Jupyter Notebook using your
And Jupyter
videos.
Notebook tutorial.
Yeah.
Yes. These are the prerequisites. Please prepare yourself. Let us connect tomorrow. We'll start with Python, core Python. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And one more thing I just want to add, core Python, we are not going to spend months of time in core Python because you understand how important topics we have to cover. Core Python is really quick, right? But from NumPy, it will be very, very, very detailed. Core Python, as you're getting Durga sir's recording, I'll give you a summary. Is that okay for everyone? Core Python
Yes,
will
ma'am.
be a summary, right? But
Yeah.
advanced Python will be very, very detailed. NumPy, Pandas, Plotly, very detailed. From that, it will be detailed. Okay. Okay. So let us connect tomorrow and let us continue. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
What
ma'am.
is your question?
Yeah, one
Pratima, you're asking some question. Pratima, you can ask. I have not seen your question. What is your question?
Yeah, actually, I just want to my query about that. After, if I get the job, and then you provide the support for sometimes or not?
Support, I really don't have time to provide support because I'm working and as well as taking classes. I really don't have time, but I think you really need support. I think you are self-independent. If you have complete all the projects and everything, I can give you in writings. If you say yes, 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 yes for every class, you are
Mhm.
independent. You don't need anyone's support, neither for clearing interviews nor for sustaining in the market. Only thing is,
Mhm.
it's up to you how you're writing all these things in your CV. I'm little kind of not very confident whether your CV will be shortlisted or not because everybody's educational background, everybody's background is different. If your
Mhm.
CV is shortlisted, rest all thing I will take care. This course make you self-independent. You don't need anybody support. You can provide support to others.
Okay,
Okay?
okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
no
Yeah,
problem.
hello.
Yes,
One small question. Uh,
yes.
Regarding the projects that we're going to come across. So just want to know, like,
Yeah.
well, that covers all the verticals like
Your
telecom, a few as a banking, and other sectors,
your
which
voice is
covers.
breaking in between. Yes, yes. Your voice
Okay.
is breaking. Pratim, I think who is speaking?
Yeah, this is Mahendra. Is it
Mahendra, your
audible now?
voice is breaking.
Or is it okay?
No, no, I'm not able to hear you. You can type your question in the chat window. I can read and answer. Yes, yes, we already started the classes and tomorrow onwards we will have continuous classes, right? There is no break. So we will continue and the demo session is over. Any further demo, end of the class, you can ask if you have any further doubts. Tomorrow onwards, we'll start with the content and I'll share you the syllabus that is pending. I'll share it by tomorrow. Okay, yeah, Mahendra, you can type your question. I'm not able to hear you.
All the vertical.
I had one doubt.
Yes, yeah, Vinash.
Yeah, what I mean, I'm from a purely non-technical background. So, what is ID and Anaconda and Jupyter? I mean, how do we differentiate between them and what exactly it is?
Python is a language. ID is a kind of kind of space where it will help us to write nice program. It has so many auto completion and other benefits. Instead of writing your Python code in a text pad or kind of notepad and running it coming to your cell or command prompt, it is better to use a IDE, which will give you so many advantage. You can run your code there only, and you many things when you write simple half of the syntax, other half will be auto complete. Spacing will be taken care by the IDE. So you please go through what is IDE. One more thing is pending for the non-technical people. I'll share a document list maybe tomorrow. I have not prepared it. I'll share a document list which you can go through before you join the course. That is very helpful. Simple concepts, right? What is class, what is object. You can go through those concepts. You have this weekend time, Saturday, Sunday. Please confirm all of this. Please go through those keywords before you join Monday's class. Okay?
Okay, madam. Yes.
Okay. Um, but vertical projects in the sense, can you explain little like more detail? I did not understand. Like telecom banking, yes, yes. So different projects will be from different sector. Having said that, it really doesn't matter. For a data scientist, one project if you've done in one domain, that same kind of project you can twist in other domain. I'll give you my example. I have done outlet detection in Goldman Sachs. When I'm working in some XYZ company now, the same outlet detection algorithm I'm using to find faulty machines, right? Or fault data or anomalies in my sensor data. So here it is industry project in the manufacturing, there it was finance. All the learnings that I have done in finance I'm utilizing in manufacturing. What is actually matters for a data scientist is the technique. Domain data is really doesn't matter. The technique in the sense whether your data has imbalance problem, whether your data has outliers, whether you're doing a regression problem, whether it is a classification problem, these all statistical or technical things matters to us. Give me finance data, give me manufacturing data, give me healthcare data, give me any data. Data is my input. I know how to handle it. I can handle any kind of data, any domain data, because I know statistics, I know mathematical concepts. The data can be suffering from different problems. I know how to handle those. Is it clear? So one project can be twisted in other domain very, very easily. Fraud detection is a banking project. In telecom, you can write network fraud detection, isn't it? Fraud detection from transaction is banking project. If you find frauds or if you find cyber attacks from network data, that is a networking project. Concept is same, project is different. You come to manufacturing, same fraud detection, outlet detection, whatever you're doing there, you can apply in manufacturing by finding anomalies from sensor data, time series data. So many of the things can be kind of converted one domain to other domain smartly. Is it clear, Mahendra? Yes. So anybody who has, it is okay, like you have to do a little bit of more. If you have a career gap, you have to start as a data analyst, as I said, right? Data science is less chance to get a data science job if you have so many career gaps. Either you bridge that career gaps by how you want to bridge, writing, freelancing or something. But if you are not able to bridge that gap, you can try for a data analyst. Data science means actually it's difficult if you have career gaps in between. Data analyst, you can get it. Okay, I hope we discussed so many things. I'm getting late. Let us connect tomorrow and continue. Any last question can I take, or we are all good? We're all good?
Yeah, how many years of data analyst should I be
3 years.
there for becoming a 3 year?
Yes.
Okay.
But this course is not completed, right? You have to learn Excel and SQL, as I said, right, Lipsha? If you know Excel and
Yes,
SQL,
ma'am.
3+ year you can write, because you know machine learning in depth. How many data analysts know machine learning in depth? Maybe 30-40%. 70% doesn't know. You know in depth. So you're a strong data analyst, right?
To be a
So yes. So
data
with this
scientist, to be a data
data
scientist,
science,
you have to be a data analyst for 3 years.
to become a data scientist, you have to complete part 1 and part 2. Not only machine learning. Machine learning is like kids game nowadays. Everyone, I mean, kids like 7th 8th class kids are doing machine learning programming. So you are saying you have 3-year experience in data science, and the interview will laugh if you don't know deep learning. So deep learning, GCP, cloud and big data is mandatory to become a data scientist nowadays. Looking at the competition and the demand from the interviewer, it is mandatory. Only with machine learning you are just a data analyst, or maybe very fresher. Maybe if some company are hiring, that is by luck. Most of the company will not hire you if you don't know deep learning, you don't have cloud knowledge, and if you don't have big data knowledge, right? And you don't know NLP, right? So because see, data science is nothing something one day you can grasp it. It is a, you have to give me 3-4 months time, because see, I have from full-time MTech, how many years I have given? 2 years complete with a 99.9 gate percentile. 2 years of full machine learning I have studied. Papers, a semester we had given, derivation book, long books we have studied. Now you're matching with me, right? So how you're thinking within 1 month you can match with me? My 8-year experience plus 2 years educational background, you're matching. So you can understand from this point how in depth the subject is. And you need to give 3 months time and to complete the entire series. Data science is not a 1-day task. It will take you 6 months to prepare or do a career transition. 3 months or 1.5 months if you're completing parallelly, and then 1.5 months for cracking interviews. At least 3 months to 4 months you have to give yourself time to change to data science. Are you getting everyone? Is it clear? So please try to understand. You can do one after another or how you want to do, it's up to you. But without deep learning, GCP and big data, you cannot crack data science interview. You can only become a data analyst. Having said that, without machine learning, in the very first question only you will be rejected. So they will start asking question from machine learning and they will end the interview asking you deep learning and advanced concepts. Is it clear? So both are important, machine learning as well as deep learning. And the way the data things are automated, auto ML things are coming up. I don't think by 2025 we will have anything called ML. Every ML will be automated by AI itself. We will only need people or data scientists who are expert in NLP and deep learning. So I mean, whatever I have looking, that's my experience. So in this today's world, without knowing advanced concept, you cannot crack even fresher level data scientist jobs without knowing deep learning. Okay. So very important concepts. Deep learning is very important. That's what I'm saying. The timing of regular classes, I'm confirming the timing as well. As of now, 2 timings are confirmed. This is 8 to 9 from next Monday onwards, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the advance is starting 8 to 9 morning. Is it clear? Evening 8 to 9 intermediate, morning 8 to 9 advanced. Is it clear everyone, the timing? Now the evening advanced class we will start after 10 days. I'll tell you the timing. Mostly it will be 7 to 8. Is it clear the timing everyone? As of
Yes,
now,
madam.
2 batches are starting parallelly. Morning, it's very simple to remember, no confusion. Evening 8 to 9 is part 1, morning 8 to 9 is part 2. Okay, part 2 is starting next Monday onwards, the demos. You can join. Okay, thank you everyone.